Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Tennis Lifestyle Podcast. I have a very special guest in this next episode, episode 4. Her name is Lisa Stone, and she's the host and creator of ParentingAces, one of the top tennis podcasts in the world. It was a very long chat I had with her. Well over an hour, so I decided to split it into 2 parts. So this is going to be part 1, and part 2 will follow soon. It was my first interview for a podcast, so you'll probably notice I was a bit nervous, and also she was in California and I'm in South Africa, so we had a bit of technical internet related issues, but I've done my best to edit it all out. And so enjoy. And this is the part 1 of the interview. Ciao, ciao. Hello, Lisa.
Good morning. Well, good afternoon.
Yes.
I don't know what, or good evening. What is it where you are?
Well, it's 9 o'clock at night, so it's
All right.
it's evening, but I'm still awake. Yeah. I just want to do a brief introduction. This is the Tennis Lifestyle Podcast. I'm Gianluca Sola. This is where we discuss tennis and much more. You can call me Luca. And today I have a very, very special guest. Her name is Lisa Stone. We're recording. I'm recording the podcast at my home in Cape Town. As you know, it's 9 o'clock in the evening. And I think, Lisa, you are, still in Southern California. Am I right?
You are right.
And it's morning there, or, well, midday.
Midday, yeah, almost lunchtime.
And you're having a walk with your dog, or is that finished already?
No, I am. I'm out walking with the dog. My husband and I are sharing desk space now during the coronavirus pandemic lockdown, and he had a webinar that he was the host of this morning, so I took the dog and decided to go for a walk and get out of his hair for a little bit.
What dog? What's his name, and what breed is it?
Well, his name is Sully, and he's a rescue, so we're not sure exactly what he is, though he definitely has some golden retriever in him, and basically he's just a sweet pup. So, yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Yeah, we had one of those as well at one stage. Nice. Anyway, just to give a bit of background, you are the creator and the host of your own podcast, which is called ParentingAces. It's a brilliant podcast. I believe it's one of the top 5 tennis podcasts in the world. And I also looked up on you've got a website, parentingaces.com, and you're all over the social media with YouTube and Twitter and Facebook live streams, I think. And I saw also you've got, is it true you've got more than 1 million downloads of your podcast?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Is that true? If that's true,
I don't know.
I'm going to just feel really good about things right now.
No, I read that somewhere, but
I'll take it if it's truly the case.
Now, all I wanted to say is your podcast, I started listening to podcasts about a year ago, and, with tennis, there's so many, there's like hundreds, but I sort of now narrowed everything down to 4 or 5, and yours is one of them. It's a brilliant podcast. It's basically a podcast for tennis parents and coaches, and tell me if I'm saying this right, but it's basically to give them advice and to discuss and give them advice on junior tennis and college tennis and the whole process. And the whole process. Is that correct? Yeah.
That's exactly right. Our mission is to help parents through the crazy journey that is junior and college tennis. And certainly with COVID-19, that journey has become way more complicated. And so I think it's, as I was coming up with my son through tennis, and I grew up playing, but I wasn't a great player. I was decent. Did not play in college. I quit playing way before I went to college. But
sorry to interrupt you. I actually wanted to ask you, because I've seen you've done many things in your many careers, and you've got quite a full life, I noticed. But can you give us a bit of a background of what you've done, and a brief background, and how you basically came about to, or how you decided to start the podcast, and your involvement with tennis?
Sure. So, I mean, in my adult life, I was a political science major at UCLA and graduated from college and went into commercial banking and into financial planning, and was selling stocks for a while, and it really wasn't my gig. I'm much more of an entrepreneur than I realized at the time. At 22, you don't really know what you are, right? You're still learning about yourself. And I then started a family. So I left the workforce for several years as I was having children and raising them, and, busy with that. And my entrepreneurial spirit kind of got the best of me when I was in those years where I was pregnant and having young children. And I got very involved in fitness and pregnancy and postpartum fitness. And so I started a program called Fit for Two, which was a pre and postnatal fitness program, and actually had the very first pregnancy website on the internet. So it's kind of my claim to fame. And it was when the internet was just coming into be. I had no idea what it was, but I had produced and created a workout video for pregnant moms and needed a way to market it. And the internet was my solution. So I did Fit for Two for many, many years, probably longer than I should have, over 20 years. And, was getting to the age where I was closer in age to my clients' parents than I was to them, and decided that maybe it was time to move on. During that time, I also was recruited by the Georgia Governor's Commission on Physical Fitness and Sports to be their associate director. And so that kind of brought my political science degree back into the picture as I was at our state legislature lobbying for more physical activity in schools and more opportunities and things like that. So then in the midst of all that, my son became very involved in tennis, and
sorry to interrupt you. Am I correct? You have two daughters and a son. Your son's your youngest.
Correct.
Okay. And your daughters were not really at tennis, or did they play, or not really? No. Okay.
They took lessons as young children, but they each found other passions to take their time, and I became very involved in whatever they were doing. So my oldest is an actress, and so I was very involved with her theater work and acting classes and voice classes and all of that. My middle one got very involved in equestrian sports, and so I spent a lot of time learning about that world, which was completely foreign to me. And and then my son, got into tennis, and so
that's quite nice. Sorry, I've only got two sons, and they're sort of both into tennis and computers, like everybody right now. But it's nice that you've got three children, so you've discovered all these three worlds really as a parent, I can imagine you're acting and equestrian and tennis. So, were you? Did you have any experience in any of those fields, or was it just tennis?
No, I actually was a theater minor, excuse me,
Oh,
at UCLA and came up in the theater world myself. So I did
okay.
have experience with that, not with TV and film, which is my daughter's passion. So, I've learned along the way, but she's also has been very independent in her pursuit of her acting career and hasn't
Okay.
required as much of me lately. But I mean, she's 31 now, so she's a grown
Okay.
woman and on her own. But with my
Yeah.
son, it was, he got so entrenched so young. I'm back. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
no problem. Where you finished your walk with your dog?
I did. I'm back home and hopefully in better cell reception.
No, no, that's fine. Do you live along? Do you live close to the coast?
I do, yeah. I live
Oh,
actually up above the coast. So um, my favorite walk is to take the dog. It's about 25 minutes, and we walk down to the water and play on the beach for a few minutes and then walk back up. And so today we
okay,
went the long route, but but typically it's
okay.
about an hour, so it's perfect.
Wow. Okay, that's nice. Yeah, I've always liked. Okay, I've got family. I've got a brother who lives in Philadelphia, and he wants to move to California. And I also did about. I did a term when I was in college as an exchange
Uh-huh.
student in Los Angeles. So
Oh,
it's
nice.
are you in the South California, or where are
Yes,
you
we're
exactly?
yeah, we're in Orange County, which is
Okay. Yeah.
just south of Los Angeles. So, yeah.
Yeah. Now I know that place. Oh, very nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. And you said you were getting a drink. I'm a bit
Water,
jealous. Water.
water.
Water. No, I can imagine. It's midday. I would be. It, water is good, but we in South Africa have had. They say we've had one of the worst lockdowns in the world. That the world press has said, because I mean we've not been allowed to buy alcohol for 2 months. They've
Yeah,
shut down everything.
I
Yeah.
heard that in your last episode. That was shocking because that was one of the things deemed essential in the US, alcohol, which I thought was
Okay.
really interesting. Well, you laugh, and I did too at first, but then
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
explained it to me
Yeah.
that if you are an alcoholic and do not have access to alcohol, you become very, very, very ill. And
Mm.
the powers that be did not want alcoholics taking up beds in the emergency rooms during COVID-19. So that made sense to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the reason they give here, there is a big problem here with alcohol, to be honest. But the reason the government decided to do that here is because if basically, yeah, when there is access to alcohol here, a lot of people get drunk, end up in fights. There's family abuses and end up in hospital. So they take up a lot of beds, and so they're
Hmm.
scared that with the virus, if they take that away, and as a matter of fact, they've opened. They've stopped that now from the 1st of June, and they've already said in the first 4 or 5 days there's been a huge increase of people in hospitals because of alcohol abuse. So, I mean, that's the reason
Interesting.
they give here. Yeah,
Yeah, so same reason, but different actions supporting that reason. It's very interesting. Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, just to say, for the last 4 days, people have gone crazy here because they haven't had alcohol for 2 months, and also me, I haven't. So I've a bit indulged in the last 2 or 3 days, but nothing too much. Um,
Well, good.
but no, going back to our discussion, you were talking. I think we finished that. You were talking about your son starting to play tennis, and you. Well, I was basically asking you, why did you decide to start your podcast? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think one of the things that I want to point out is that even though I grew up playing tennis, the sport has changed tremendously since I was a kid coming through tennis and basically in the
yeah.
1970s. Um, when I was coming up, tennis was very much driven by the kids, meaning that it was left up to us to arrange to hit with our friends, to ride our bikes to the court, to sign
Yeah.
up for tournaments. It wasn't adult and parent driven as it is now. When my son
Exactly. Yeah.
was competing, things changed. I mean, it was night and day. And as a parent, even though I was very familiar with the sport itself, I had
Yeah.
no idea how to navigate his journey through the sport
Yeah.
and needed help and just wasn't getting it.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. No, no, no. It's you're no, it's very interesting. I mean, I could talk so long, also because I can relate on so many levels. I mean, also with having two sons that are playing tennis now, and yeah, as you say, it's two different sports. I mean, back then and nowadays, it's so different. So it's not easy to be a parent and know what to do with a child involved in tennis and who maybe wants to take it quite seriously. Um,
Right.
but
Right. And
going back,
and
yeah, sorry,
oh, go.
yeah,
Well, I was just going to say that every child's journey is so different too, and that poses another set of challenges. So even
yeah,
if, I mean, as you have two children playing the sport and they're both boys, so you would think that your approach would be pretty similar for the two of them. I suspect that there are things you're doing differently to
yeah,
accommodate each of their needs. And so
spot on, yeah, yeah,
right. And so that adds a whole other level of complication to the process.
yeah, yeah. Now I wanted to talk about this later, but I think I'm through the journey. I mean, you've probably already finished it, but obviously,
Yes,
I'm through the journey right now, in the middle of it. And okay, I'm not going to explain my whole journey because it'd be too long. But I think you get to a point where if you are very involved, um, like I am, and I imagine how like you were. I mean, I not only am the parent, the father, but I'm also their tennis coach and their anything to do with tennis, I'm involved with them. I think I am soon going to be getting a degree in psychology because
that will help.
I, yeah, because I
I
think
mean, I'm
you know
laughing because it just makes so
yeah,
much sense.
yeah, I mean you feel like it's like being a psychologist. It's um, it's you have to everyone, as you said, everyone is different and you have to understand the person. And it might seem strange, but for tennis it's so particular. You have to exactly know that kids, what he wants, what he needs, what inspires him. And yeah, I think you have to be a psychologist. A good coach is a good psychologist, and it's extremely difficult. So, I mean, your podcast in that way is it's talking about being a parent and being involved in a sport like tennis is very very complicated. I mean, people might maybe think it's very simple, but it's not. So that's why I find it very interesting personally.
Sure.
Um,
And I'll
yeah,
tell you, I mean, it's so I've been at this for almost 9 years now. And when I first started ParentingAces.com, it was a way for me to document my journey with my son. So I was writing
Mm.
about, specific experiences that we were having as a tennis player and parent. Obviously, as he's grown up and now not playing any longer, that has changed
Yeah.
a bit. But what I realized is, and what I subsequently did on not only the website, but also the podcast and our YouTube channel, is to create these broad categories of content, because there is
Mm.
the coaching side where you talk about the technique and the strategy and
Yeah.
tactics and all of that. There's the mental side of the game where, the psychology degree comes in very handy.
Yeah.
There's the fitness and nutrition side of the game. There's the
Yeah.
competition side. There's recruiting and playing in college. There's the parenting side. And so I have tried to organize the content on all of our
Yeah.
social channels into categories to make it easier for people searching for something specific to their needs to find what they
Yeah.
want. So, and obviously, there's certain pieces that cross several content categories, right?
Yeah.
But I found that not only were people interested in, like, how do I pick a coach and how do I decide if my kid's coach is the right coach and when we need to change coaches, but also like basic things like, what do I pack when we go to a tournament, and
Yeah.
what are the expectations once we arrive at a tournament? What are we supposed to do? And these are simple things,
Yeah.
but there just wasn't the guidance.
Yeah. No, no, yeah, I completely understand that. It really takes up once you're involved in it and your kid is really involved in the sport. It can take up so much of your time, and the whole process is you have to really think about it. It's not as simple as people make it out to be. But I
It's
just wanted
it's
to
not
talk about
simple,
your
and it's oh, sorry, I was gonna say it's not simple and it's
no.
not
Yeah.
cheap. It's not cheap.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, tennis, I mean, as you say, I mean, it's a sport where it depends how what you want to do with it. That's what's at the end of the day, I think, really matters. If you have a very clear goal in mind, then you can decide how to go about, and how to proceed to get to there. But every goal is very different, whether you want to just play socially or try and become a professional.
And there are
It's much
multiple
more.
pathways to each goal. There's not
Exactly.
just one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's a very exactly. I mean, it's a very big discussion, and I think maybe there's not only one answer to everything. But going back to your podcast, because I'd like people to listen to it, and I
Me
always
too.
encourage. Yeah, I know the people I speak to, I tell them they must listen because talking about it, one thing I've realized is that as a tennis player, you get better from zero to, let's say, you're getting better towards, let's say, the ultimate pro. It involves many aspects, but basically it involves the three big ones are the physical part, the technical part, and the mental part. And um, I realize more and more that the more further you get and the better you get and the more advanced you get, the mental, everybody knows how to hit the ball. Everybody, the better they get at a certain level, will be very good physically,
Yep.
but the difference at the very top or at the pro or a very good level is the mental level. And that's what interests me a lot, because I've seen millions of videos and talked a lot about technique and physically. Yeah, there's, everybody can get into shape as best as they can. But the difference is the mental side. I mean, I remember Ferrero, the Spanish
Yeah. Oh, love him.
player. Yeah, I mean, he was number one in the world. He said, describe tennis, and I always remembered this. He said, yeah, tennis is 45% physical, 45% mental, and 10% technical. Basically saying that how to hit the ball means nothing.
Yeah.
So, and what I liked in your podcast is there's a few, like you did one called Teaching Point Construction with Todd Whittam. I thought that was excellent. As I said, I'm really looking at specific things, and that podcast really was really good. The other one was mental and emotional training with Peter Scales. I really like that one. And then a more recent one, also, I think I mentioned this to you, was the mental game of tennis with Alon. I don't know how to say this, but is it Kakshori?
Kakshuri. Yep.
Yeah, Kakshori. Those are excellent podcasts. I mean, everybody can talk all day about the techniques and how to hit a backhand and all that, but these I thought were really useful for a player at a certain level. It's interesting. I mean, I'll just point one thing out, but the Alon Kashori one, he was talking. He was the manager of Djokovic. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was pointing out the fact that talking a lot about the key is meditation, and I mean, I'm not going to go into that because it's going to be a really long discussion. But to meditate, he thinks is going to help a lot a tennis player deal with those key stressful moments, and yeah, it was just really interesting. I'm trying to get my kids to do 10-minute meditations a day, but I'm being very unsuccessful. So
Well, yeah, I was
yeah.
going to say the challenge is all of these things, that we hear the pros doing are good. Obviously a lot of them work wonders for these players, but our kids are not professional tennis players yet, or may never be.
Yeah.
And so some of the techniques and tactics and skills that the pros tout as life-changing for them, our kids are either A, not going to be open to trying them because they're too time consuming, or they sound too weird, or they're just kids and they're not going to do it, or they're not appropriate to even try to get our kids to do, right? So I think that it's really important when listening to the pros talk about how they train, what they train, things they're doing outside of the tennis court, to understand that they are trying to make a living playing this sport. That's very different from a
Yeah.
10-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 16-year-old, even an 18 or 19-year-old in college, trying to get better each day, to have their potential still be, ahead of them. They haven't reached it yet. And
Yeah.
so I think as parents, we tend to hear the pros say, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And we immediately think we've got to get our 7-year-old doing those things. It's not always appropriate for that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely agree. It's you have to. Those things are things that, yeah, it's age appropriate, as you say. But I was just wondering, do you meditate?
I don't meditate, but I practice
Okay.
yoga. So,
Okay.
I mean, there is meditation as part of my yoga practice, but I
Yeah.
don't do a separate, you know, structured meditation. But I will tell you that I am a very different person on the days where I practice yoga and the days I don't. So, and my
Okay.
husband and my
Yeah.
children will attest to that. So,
Yeah. 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 No, no, it's very interesting. Yeah. No, it's something I'd like to get into more. I'm trying to do it, and my wife does it and makes a big change to her as well, and I'm sure it does help. Um, but just going back to the last podcast you did was with your son Morgan Stone. I listened to the one also he did before that. It was I think it was it called the D1 podcast or something like that,
Yeah.
where he yeah and yeah, no, they were both very interesting. And you know, it's really nice listening to that because it was an open, very honest discussion you had with your own son. And I think everybody thinks this tennis journey has to be a certain way always, but everyone's different. And obviously, we heard the story of your son, and it was very honest and very nice to listen to him. Um, I must admit, I relate a lot to the things used to you and to the things he said, and also there was a lot of things that he said that I agree and disagree with because, for example, I mean, he talks a lot. He was very honest. He talks a lot about not liking tennis and the reason why he didn't like it, but I don't know. I'm just saying out of my own experience because I was quite similar growing up, uh, and I won't go into the whole story, but I sort of stopped tennis when I was like early 20s, but then got really into it again, even more so in my middle 30s. And so I'm thinking, while he's trying to say he's never going to play or be interested in tennis anymore, I think, you know, with time, things change, and I might be wrong, but he might rediscover tennis.
I
So
I
as I'm saying,
definitely think I definitely think he will at some point in the
yeah,
future. He
yeah,
still has a lot of anger toward some things that
mm,
happened during his tennis years, and I understand that. And he's 23 years old. He's young and
yeah.
has some
Sorry to
still
interrupt
has.
you. Sorry to interrupt you, Lisa. But what specifically? I know in his podcast or in your podcast, he was saying he didn't get along with a coach in college. Was there
Yes.
something else as well that really sort of, or was it mostly because one day he just realized, well, it's very difficult to make a living out of tennis, so what's the point of doing this? What
He
was it?
he never had a goal of making a living from tennis. That was never ever
Okay.
his goal. His goal was always to play in college at the highest level that he was able, and he achieved that
And
goal.
he did that, am I
Yes,
right? Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. He achieved that
Mm,
goal. So, um, he there were some things. My son is very outspoken and has always been a bit of a rebel. Doesn't handle authority real well. Doesn't handle rules real well. He is my
okay.
child, and my husband's child.
Okay.
We're both kind of rebellious, but so I think there were periods coming up through tennis, and I will tell you there was a turning point. It was one of the early tournaments he played as a 9 or 10-year-old, where he faced his first situation where an opponent was consistently making bad line calls in a match.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And nothing was done about it. My son got an
Mm,
official, nothing was done. My son, spoke to the tournament director, nothing was done. And of course, that was the first of many of those instances throughout his junior career where he faced an opponent who saw the court and the lines very differently than everybody else did. And
okay.
it was to him a personal affront and an
Mm,
injustice that someone was allowed to continue
yeah.
to compete and
Mm,
continue to exhibit that behavior without any repercussion. And
yeah. Sounds a lot
I
like my oldest son. Yeah. Yeah.
I think as time went on, he began to see more instances of um, maybe
Mm.
favoritism by officials, by tournament directors, by there were certain kids who were always penalized and certain kids who were never penalized for the same behaviors. And
Mm.
I think, it just was offensive to my son and
Mm.
made him have a distaste for the sport at that level.
Okay.
Um, but I will say that when he was getting ready to go off to college, he was,
Mm.
had a renewed excitement about it. He
Okay.
had that goal that he had set as a young kid was now there. He was about to touch it and he was super excited about it. And then got
Okay.
to college and had such a negative experience his first year that was kind of the final straw for him. And
He
he
didn't have
gave
a
it
didn't get along with a coach or something. Am I right? Yeah.
I mean, that was
Yeah.
part of it, but it was beyond that.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
the way that the team was treated. It was the way that the sport was viewed
Yeah.
at the university. It was um, things that
Not
he had
very
been
important.
told.
Yeah.
Well, right, but things that he had been
Yeah.
told during the recruiting process would happen did not happen.
Okay.
Um, and
Okay.
so there was anger and disappointment about that. And so he wound up transferring and had a much more
Mm.
positive experience his second year overall, but just wasn't happy where he was geographically and really wanted to get
Yeah.
back to California, and realized that
Mm.
tennis was not going to be a part of that transition back to California. So,
Mm.
it was a rough road for him, left a bad taste in his mouth, but at the end of the day, I think his best friend in the whole world is a guy that was his roommate and teammate his sophomore year of college. And that young man is from New
Mm.
Zealand and has become a part of our family. Um,
Okay.
and so I think, when the two of them get together, there will be tennis somewhere along the line. My son,
Mm.
my
Okay.
son is also very close to my youngest brother, who's I mean, he's not closer in age to my son than to me, but emotionally they
Mm.
connect. And my brother
Okay.
is a very big tennis force in the town where he lives, and plays all the
Okay.
time. So I suspect that tennis will come back, but we'll see.
Yeah.
It's up to him to pick up a racket again or
Yeah.
not. It's his decision.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a incredible sport because I have a friend. Long story, but he actually comes lives 10 minutes from my same town that I was born in Italy, and he lives now 5 minutes from me in South Africa. And we met down here. It's quite a strange story, and he's a tennis coach and so on. And we always joke, and he says, tennis is such a shit sport, but he says it in a ironic way. It's got so many. It's a lonely sport. It's it's not a team sport. You're on your own. You travel. It costs a lot of money. Um, you lose, and you're on your own, and there's not a team that helps you. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, we always talk about this, but at the same time, it's a sport that once it gets in you, it doesn't leave you, and that's why I wouldn't be surprised if your son maybe when he's older, one day just picks up a racket and he rediscovers how incredible the sport is. But I might be wrong, but it's just a thought there.
yeah, I hope you're right.
Yeah. um, another thing he mentioned that caught my attention. He said he went to Joffrey Porta Global Tennis Academy in Mallorca.
He did, and I heard your son say that he played there as well.
Okay. Yeah, no. It sounded to me he had a really bad experience.
You know, he says that, but I have photos that show a different side of the experience that he had there. So
Okay.
I think he and Joffrey clashed, but he found other people there
Okay.
that he really connected to. And
Okay.
actually, the other podcast that you listen to with my son, the host of that
Yeah.
podcast is a young man that he met at Global. So
At
uh,
Global, yeah.
yeah, and Eddie has actually interviewed my son for an article on his website and now done this podcast with him. So there are a lot of positives that came out of that experience. I think
Uh,
it came at a time in my son's life where, you know, he was, I think, had just turned 17. He was not very pleasant to be around, to be honest with you, at that age. And, you know, I think
did did you did, did you go down with him, or did he go on his own there? Or how long was he there for?
he went on his own, but my husband and I had been
Okay.
there the month prior. For my birthday. One of the thing I wanted for my birthday was to have a tennis lesson on the red clay in Mallorca. And so
Oh, okay.
that's
Cool.
what I got to
Uh,
do, and that's how we found
and-
Global. And so
okay.
when my son went, we put him on a plane and said see ya, and he was
Okay.
there a
Yeah.
little over a month. Um, we
Okay.
we had
Okay.
offered
Yeah.
for him to actually spend the entire school year there, to stay,
Mm.
and he said absolutely not, I'm coming home. So he
Okay.
had had enough.
Well, yeah. No, it's interesting. We've been there twice, but it not in. We went there on holiday and combined a tennis, 2 and 3 week tennis sort of period for my sons there, and yeah, I mean, look, I can only say good things. I
Me
think,
too.
and
Me too.
I haven't been everywhere, but if somebody tells me they are extremely serious about tennis, I would just point my finger and say, go there.
Right.
Because there you will really know if you want to do it or not.
Well,
Because the
yeah,
way yeah, sorry. Yeah,
they don't fool around there, and I one
yeah,
of the things that appealed to us as parents was how small the academy was and
exactly. Yeah.
how much personal attention each player got. I will say that while my son was at Global, he was in constant communication with his coach back in the States, and
Yeah.
sending that coach in the States the daily workouts that he was doing. So the drills he was doing on court, the fitness work he was
Okay.
doing, with times, and and
Okay.
his
Yeah.
coach back in the States was very accepting of learning a different way for my son to train once he came back. And for that,
Yeah.
I think, we were both very grateful, that he
Yeah.
learned that he did not need to be on a tennis court 4 and 5 hours a day, that he could be on a
Yeah.
tennis
Yeah.
court an hour and a half, take a break, do another hour and a half, and then that was sufficient. And then there was
Yeah.
time left to do other things. That's not how children are trained in the States, unfortunately. And
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
that's a reason for a lot of the burnout we see here is our kids are just, they're on the
Okay.
court too long, too
Too long. Too
much.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. No. It's fascinating. I mean, I did a lot of research, and I mean, let's be honest. There's a reason why in the last 20 years Spain has dominated the sport and of tennis, and you can go there and go to. They've got 20, 30, 40 academies that are just amazing, and I've just, as you said, I mean, I've been there twice, and I've actually filmed and taken back home with me the drills that they did there, and to this day we're doing the same drills. I just follow them, and
Yeah, I
they're
did the same
fantastic.
thing
Yeah.
when I took my lesson. My husband actually filmed my lesson, um, and
Okay.
I've gone back and watched it
Did you do
because
it with Joffrey?
no, I did it with
Oh,
one of the young coaches there, and
was it a Brazilian guy?
uh, this was a long
Oh, you don't.
time ago. It was 7 years
Okay. Okay.
ago, so
Oh, okay. All right.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Well, it could have been him. Yeah.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
just remember, after about 5 minutes on the red clay, feeling like I was gonna keel over and die. And the coach saying to me, "You don't get a water break. No, you haven't. Are you number one in the world?
Yeah.
No, you don't get a water break yet." So I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my God."
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
intense, but I loved every
Yeah.
second of it. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I know. I mean,
I
yeah.
recommend that place to people all the time. I think they do a
Yeah.
fantastic job. And again, I think the small player to coach ratio is what sets them apart for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to
And
mention that Mallorca is exquisite. So if you have to
yeah.
go work hard somewhere,
True.
it's a nice place to go work hard.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. It's very nice. Yeah, no, brilliant, brilliant academy. And I mean, just to finish, the fact that he lives on the same floor where he sleeps is where the tennis players sleep. I
Yep.
mean, this guy lives tennis 24/7. I mean, I don't know many coaches that do that. So,
And not just him,
um,
his family, right? I mean,
yeah,
his
and his family.
his
Yeah,
wife
yeah.
his wife was the
Uh,
one that,
Afiza.
yep,
Yeah,
she took care of the
yeah,
kids. She, made sure they
yeah.
had food. She made sure that they had money when
Sure.
they
Yeah,
were going into town, and she was amazing.
yeah, yeah.
It's definitely a family business. So
Yeah, yeah. No, I wouldn't mind speaking to them as well. But yeah, no, no. Let's just going back well, I mean, going back to your son though. I mean, he's become. Uh, I want to listen to a bit of his music, but a very famous DJ. Am I right?
I would not say very famous. He is
Well, famous.
he's growing his following for sure, and he was a marketing and business major in college, and it's been very fun for me to watch him use what he learned through his marketing
Mm,
classes and just through his own life skills, learning how the things work, um, putting that into practice with his music, and also as a consultant for Parenting Aces. I call him all the time for help on my social media and my
mm,
website and things like that. So the music industry is very much about marketing, and
yeah,
he's done an incredible job getting his name out there, networking and connecting to people that have been so helpful in his career. And even he and my husband took a trip to France last year, and there was a DJ in Paris that my son really looked up to and had some communication with online. They ended up connecting in Paris and getting in the studio together and creating music
okay,
together.
nice.
And I mean, how cool is that, that he's
Yeah,
able to do that. So music for him is definitely a passion. He's got a regular
yeah,
job that he does, a marketing job where he's having a lot of success. And I think
yeah.
it'll be interesting to see if he gets to a point where he can make a living with his music, and if that's a way
Mm,
to pay bills. But certainly that's not where he is today, but it's a goal of his for
right
sure.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Okay. What would you say? I've just got a few questions here. What would you say is the most challenging aspect of the relationship between a parent and a tennis parent and is the son or the daughter? What do you think is the most difficult aspect of that relationship?
I mean, I think it's different for every person, obviously, but for me, the most challenging piece was separating results from progress, right? From growth.
Okay. Yeah,
And
I understand that completely. Yeah.
and understanding that just because your child isn't winning a match or winning a tournament or, you know, a series of matches or a series of tournaments doesn't mean
Yeah.
they're not continuing to grow and progress in their tennis. And winning doesn't directly correlate with development. So that was very
Yeah.
difficult for me. Um, and
Yeah. I think you're spot on there.
I
Yeah.
think, it's very easy to feel like, you know, you don't want to make your child feel bad when they lose, but you're disappointed when they lose, not just for them, because
Yeah.
obviously, it feels bad for them. But I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, it's disappointing to sit there and watch your child compete and
Yeah.
then not win. It's a hard thing
Yeah.
to feel and to reconcile, but we
Yeah.
have to
And they're on
remember.
their own. It's not a team sport, it's everything's on their shoulders. Yeah.
Sure, sure,
Yeah.
but we
But
are the adult in the relationship, and so the onus is on us to manage the way we feel in order to
mm,
help our children grow from every
yeah.
experience, right? And so we have to
Yeah.
separate our feelings from what's
Mm,
happening in reality. And to me, that was, oh, I'm a very emotional person. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm passionate.
mm,
So that was just a really big, difficult challenge for me personally.
yeah. No, no, I completely agree. And but your son at the end of the day, he gave you. I don't know if he was just being nice, but he gave you a 9.2 out of 10 as a tennis parent, and a 9.8 or something like that as a parent. So I mean, wow, well done. I mean, I
Thank
think
you.
if I get half of that, I'll be extremely happy.
I will say I have a very, very close relationship with all three of my children, and that is something that I've worked hard at. It has always been very important to me, and so
Mm,
it, while I was pleased to hear him say that, it didn't surprise me because we're super close, and I mean,
yeah,
I, I don't think he was just being nice because we really are close. I mean,
yeah.
I was kind of surprised at the high number for the tennis parent rating. I wasn't so sure I was going to get such a good ranking there, but the overall parent skills, I have to pat myself on the back. I think I did all right there. The tennis parent stuff I screwed up royally. I am the first to admit. So,
No, no, no. That's very good, very good. Yeah. No, look, got lots of other questions here I have in front of me, but I think I don't want to talk too much. I mean, I'm taking a lot of your time, but if you don't mind, I just want to change completely now, sort of subjects, and just ask you a whole lot of questions, short ones, and you can just say whatever comes to your mind. They're not too complicated. Um, yeah. So, for example, what is your very first memory of tennis? Very first one.
um, being on the court with my dad as a young girl and hitting with him.
Your dad was a player. Did he
Yeah,
play?
my dad is a player. He is 82 years old and still plays
Oh,
singles.
oh,
So,
really?
yes.
Okay. Wow, that's excellent. And when did you start playing? What age?
I'm sure, I mean, the first time I picked up a racket, I'm sure I was pretty small, but started, playing pretty seriously, I would say around 8 or 9.
Okay. And who influenced you? Was it your dad or a coach or parents?
My dad for sure.
Yeah.
And I started playing at a club in the neighborhood that I grew up in. And there were so many kids at the club on the tennis courts every day. And that was really the inspiration for me. It was very social for me.
Okay, yeah. And do you do you still play? Do you currently
Yes.
play right now?
Yes, well, not
Okay.
right this
And
minute because of COVID-19, although my
yeah.
club is back open, and people are playing. I'm just not ready to do that yet. But yeah, I play a lot.
Oh, is it? Okay, great. Okay. And okay. Do you play like what, two, three times a week or
Yeah,
more? Or-
yeah, 2 to 3 times, sometimes five. It just depends.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
During league seasons, I'm on 3 different teams, and then I'm in
Okay.
just
Wow.
a
Okay.
social mixed doubles group that plays on the weekends. So yeah, I play quite a bit.
Okay. Good. And did you play also in college? Did you
No,
play college tennis?
no, no.
No. Okay. All right. Um, if you have to define what type of player you are, how would you describe yourself as a player?
Um, One who really likes to win, but is more about just being out there and having the experience of playing. So in terms of, what
Okay.
style of, I'm a lefty like your son. But
Oh, okay.
I don't have the lefty gifts, unfortunately. But I
You don't
enjoy,
have those angles.
I'm learning and I'm getting better at it, but yeah, I just, yeah, never got that down.
Okay. All right. Are you an all quarter or
I am a I am
baseliner
a
or
baseliner through and through, though I am doing my
okay.
damnedest to get more comfortable at the net.
Okay. All right. Um, did you have a tennis sort of idol growing up? Somebody,
Oh yeah, Chris Evert.
tennis player?
Chris Evert was my
Oh,
idol.
okay.
I played with the
Good.
Chris Evert signature Wilson wood racket,
Okay. Okay.
and then I actually Tracy Austin and Pam Shriver and Andrea Yeager were all around my same
Yeah.
age, and I had the opportunity to see them play in our national hardcourt tournament. It used to be at my neighborhood tennis club. And so
Okay.
once I got to see them play in
Fantastic.
person, that was incredibly inspirational. And so now,
Wow.
all
Okay.
these years later, I've had the opportunity to interview Tracy and to interview Pam. And how
Okay.
cool is that?
Very nice. Yeah, yeah. No, there's such must be very nice. Yeah. And currently, do you have a favorite player, male or female? Do you have a who's your favorite right now? Or do you have one?
Anybody who knows me knows that I am a Rafa girl through and through. I absolutely
Oh, okay.
adore him. Um,
Oh, really?
I've been a
Okay.
huge
Yeah.
fan of his for a very long time, and yeah,
Did, did you go to his academy when you were in Mallorca?
it wasn't there yet.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we were very lucky. We went there. And the year we went there, I don't remember now, it was 4 or 5 years ago. It was the year before he opened. So it was finished, but it wasn't opened. And we just went to visit it one day by chance. And we just found him there
Oh,
with nobody around,
oh my gosh.
training with one Monaco.
Uh,
And they would just hit for an hour and a half. And then in the inside court, there was his uncle with another family member who was like 5 years old, who was busy, teaching him now the next Nadal. And it was
wow,
amazing. I mean, it was very nice.
that's awesome.
And yeah, no, you know what surprised me? He is much bigger in life than on TV. He is huge.
He is a big
I don't know
guy.
if you've ever seen him.
Well, yeah.
He's a
So
very big guy.
the first
Surprised me. Yeah.
the first time that I was credentialed media at the U.S. Open, I made a point of going into his press conference, well, to his press conferences. Every time he won, I would make sure I was in the press conferences,
Okay.
and always found a seat down front because I wanted to just be able to watch his face as he spoke to the media. And I, I'll never forget the intensity of asking him a question and having him look
Mm.
me in the eye as he answered. And he didn't, who was I? He didn't know who I was. But it
Yeah.
was a really impactful experience for me.
Yeah, that must be amazing. What's the best match you've ever seen live? It could be a pro, a ATP, or a WTA, or even just a club match.
I have to say going to the NCAA championships, and I can't pick out a single match, but I absolutely love watching college tennis. It's my favorite thing to watch.
Okay.
And there is a
Okay.
level of excitement and an energy at those matches that doesn't exist anywhere else in our sport.
Okay. Fantastic. Yeah, that's nice. I'd love to see. Yeah. Um, what's the best match you have ever played? Do you remember that?
Oh gosh.
Was it like a week ago? I mean, well, no. Under this pandemic, no, but was it like 2 months ago?
So I'll tell you the most important match that I played and won was when I was 14. I was in the 8th grade, and I went to a school that allowed 8th graders to play on the high school tennis team. And my doubles partner and I were on the high school team, and we won the state high school championship. And that
Oh,
was my
okay.
biggest victory, and probably the match that stuck with me my whole life. It was a big
Okay,
win.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Big win. Um, best tournament in the world.
Monte Carlo. And I haven't been to it, but it's on
Okay.
my bucket list.
Okay. Yeah, very nice. What's your favorite court that you've ever played on?
Well, I would have to be the red clay
Can
at
be.
Global. There's just nothing that
Oh, really?
compares. It
Okay.
would have to be because
Okay.
I mean to be on that court and to feel what it feels like to move on the red clay was spectacular for me.
Okay. So you're more of a hardcore player, obviously,
Yeah.
growing up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Um, best tennis shoes. Do you have a pair of shoes make that you think is the best that you've ever had?
That's tricky. I I get gifts of shoes from different companies when they're coming out with new ones, they want me
Okay.
to try and then write about them, which I love getting to do that.
Okay.
Um, the ones that I wear the most
So,
regularly are my Asics. They just seem to fit my foot the best. I have a very narrow foot,
okay.
so
Yeah.
and they also seem to have a lot of support, which at age 57 I
Yeah.
appreciate. So
Okay. And they've also, yeah, they're also very, well, I'm talking more for juniors. They seem to um, be last long. Their rubber seems to be very strong. It's just our
well,
experience.
that's good. Yeah, I
Mm.
certainly don't put them to the same
Yeah.
test that a junior player would, but for me,
Mm.
they hold up very
Yeah.
well. So
Very
yeah.
comfortable. And what do you know? What strings do you use?
Oh,
Being a bit
see,
technical here, but
I
do you
know.
know? Or
Um,
have you got a favorite? Or
I really don't, and this is going to sound really
yeah,
pathetic, but whenever I get my rackets
no.
restrung, I take them to the pro shop or the stringer, and they say what tension, and I say I don't know, and they say what string do you want, and I say I don't know. So whatever they do
So
seems to work, and I'm
okay.
good with that.
So does it work? Well, then you just have to keep it like. Okay.
yeah, but it winds up being something different every time, and I'm good with that. I listen, my technique is fine, but it's certainly not such that I have to worry about that.
Okay. Do you have a all-time favorite racket,
I mean,
tennis
I
racket?
got to go back to my Chris Evert autograph. I am a
Uh,
Wilson
okay.
girl. I have played with Wilson my whole life. I love that I am
Okay.
on Wilson's PR department's mailing list. So when they come out with new rackets, they send me the press release and ask me if I want to test them out,
Uh,
and I always raise my hand. So they keep me pretty well
okay.
supplied.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have to choose a club, maybe you're gonna answer. You've already answered this, but best tennis club you've ever been to. What's your favorite tennis club
Ooh, I mean,
that you've
I
played in? Yeah.
the most beautiful one is the
Yeah.
Malibu Racket Club here in Southern California.
Okay.
It
I've heard about that one a lot. I'd love to go there. Yeah.
it's pretty spectacular.
Is it like right on the you see the sea
Yeah,
and
it's up
is it
high. So
yeah
yeah, and I
up
will
high?
say
Okay.
I have played on the courts at Indian Wells as well, and that's not too shabby. So
Okay. That's the tournament on my bucket list.
uh
I want to go
yeah,
there.
you should come.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah. I know. Um, do you like actually watching tennis on TV? Do you watch it on TV, or is it something you're not? Because I know a lot of people who are obsessed with tennis, but they just don't like watching it on TV.
I
They
am
play it.
I'm a tennis junkie. Yes, I watch tennis on
Oh,
TV. I
really?
watch it
Okay.
online. I
On
watch it
TV.
on my
Okay.
phone. Yes.
Do you go as far as streaming futures online?
Yes. And college matches.
Okay. Oh, so,
Yes.
okay. So you're on my level.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
A junkie, as I said.
uh, the Tsitsipas question, because he's a Greek
Oh, love
philosopher.
him too.
So this
Okay.
is the Tsitsipas question. Why do you play tennis?
I play for a lot of reasons. One, I absolutely love the sport. I love the physical nature of it. I love being outdoors. I love the challenge. I love the social aspect of it. I have friends around the world as a result of tennis. And
Mm,
when I moved to Southern California back in October, the first day I got here, I put a message out saying, I just arrived. I play tennis at this level. I'm looking for people to hit with. I don't know anybody here. Let me
mm,
know if you're looking to play. And within 5 minutes,
yeah.
I had a call from a woman who had me set up with 3 tennis matches over the next 5 days, and I haven't looked back. So it's just a
Okay,
phenomenal
fantastic.
sport. Yeah.
Fantastic. Very nice. Um, this one's interesting. Okay, you have to book a restaurant and you must choose 3 players, male or female, that will join you for dinner. You must tell us which restaurant and which players.
Current players, or it can be anybody.
Anybody, doesn't matter.
Well, there's a sushi restaurant in Beverly Hills called Matsuhisa, so that would be my restaurant choice. Um, and
Okay.
it's
You're a
I
big
am,
sushi.
and if you've heard of
Yeah.
Nobu,
Okay.
that's his restaurant.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
it's before he started his self-named restaurants. So that would be my
Okay.
spot. And three, you said 3 players. Um,
Three players. Yeah.
okay, so
So it's a square table, and
okay, Tsitsipas would definitely
yeah.
be one of them. He is one of the
Okay.
young up-and-comers that I absolutely adore. Nadal for
Okay.
sure because he's Nadal. Um,
Okay.
I would love Coco Gauff at the table. I think she is
Okay.
very wise for her 16 years and would love to have a more in-depth conversation with her. I've had, one-on-one interviews after
Yeah.
matches, but not dinner table conversation.
Okay.
And
She's making a lot of news the last few days
and as she
with
should
her.
be. I mean, I'm glad she's
Yeah.
getting the attention
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
what she's doing. She's
Yeah.
very outspoken and she's
Okay.
I have so much respect. And
Well, that's three
oh,
players.
that's
You've
it.
already told me
Okay, well
three.
there you go. There's my three.
Okay, no, but you wanted to add one more. Okay, let's put the famous chair in between, in the corner, in between two people. That we'll add an extra one.
Billie Jean King.
Okay, Billie Jean King, Tsitsipas, Nadal, Billie Jean King, and that's a very interesting group.
And Coco. Yep.
Very interesting.
I think we would have
And
some good
Coco. Yeah.
conversations, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, and I know Nadal loves sushi, so
Perfect.
yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Tsitsipas. I think he likes buffalo mozzarella, but
Well,
anyway,
he grew up at the
he'll be
sea in Greece. I went to
yeah.
his hometown last year and saw where he grew up. So
Oh, really?
I'm thinking, yes, he
They
probably,
say it's
it
beautiful.
is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. You've been many places, huh? That's very interesting. What will tennis look like in 2050, 30 years from now?
I hope
How,
I
I
hope
mean,
it still
this,
exists as a sport as we know it now, because I am constantly seeing tweaks and changes and, people trying to figure out
mm,
how to grow tennis, but they are
mm,
growing it by changing it into something it's not. And you know, I don't love that.
mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
I'm hoping that
Yeah.
technology isn't going to disrupt the sport too much more. I think that,
Okay.
how much harder can somebody hit the ball? How much faster can someone move around the court? I think we're seeing incredible athleticism in our sport right now. And
Yeah.
I enjoy that aspect of it, but I also don't want it to become a serve point over kind of
Mm,
sport. So
yeah. Yeah.
I'm just hoping that the traditionalists win out a little bit and we maintain our beautiful scoring system and we maintain the size of the court and the way that the game is structured. I hope there aren't too many changes in 2050, but I hope that we can find a way to introduce and keep more young people in the sport so that we continue to have people like my
Mm,
dad playing at age 82 and still loving
yeah.
it, right? So that's my hope.
Mm, okay. Right. This is going to be a very quick one. I'm calling it a super tie break because it's 10 quick questions. You must complete your perfect all-time tennis player. Okay. So let's start with the serve. It can be male or female, anytime, doesn't matter.
I mean, I think I got to go with John Isner.
Yeah, I would do that as well. Your return of serve.
Andy Murray.
Okay, good one, return. Forehand.
The forehand, I have to say, it's a player maybe people don't know. People in the States will know him, but Mackie McDonald.
Mm.
The first time I ever saw him play at UCLA, I was blown away
Okay.
by his racket head speed, and now he's out on tour and he's had a couple surgeries this year. So hopefully COVID-19 is giving
Huh.
him a chance to heal
Is,
and get back out there.
is he a young player? I've never heard of
Yeah, right. That yeah. So he played at UCLA
that.
and then turned pro. He won the NCAA championships his junior year in college and then went pro. So he's got to be 25 or 26 now. He's a couple years ahead of my son.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Backhand.
Nadal.
Okay. Volley.
Nadal.
That's a
Let
good one.
me,
Very
okay,
good.
Nadal,
Yeah.
but also let me just say Taylor Townsend. I love her net game. I love
Okay.
how she's developed her net game to come forward and attack. So, yeah, I'm gonna throw her in there.
Okay. This one could be a bit tricky. Drop shot.
I think you got to go Djokovic with that. He's so good at the drop
Yeah.
shot.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah, yeah. No, it's his favorite shot, and yeah, very good. Movement.
Huh.
I think there can only be one
I
here. I
mean,
think.
Djokovic,
No,
right? I mean, he's insane around the
yeah,
court, but
yeah, yeah.
I also
Or it could also be
well,
Federer.
I was
But
also going to say David Ferrer, who just
okay.
I mean, I know he's retired, but I, he blew my mind the way he got around a tennis court.
Yeah. Mentality.
Rafa.
Yeah. Style.
Hmm. Um, can I say Maria Sharapova even though she's retired?
Yeah, no. Anybody
Okay.
could be any time.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna say
yeah.
Maria.
Okay, okay. Last one. Personality.
Whew. Um, that one's tougher for me.
Mm, because there's many.
There
Yeah,
are. I
yeah.
love Nick Kyrgios. I'm gonna probably get
Oh,
slammed for
really?
saying that. I
No,
I
no,
think
no.
he's so good for our sport.
Yeah,
Um, I
yeah.
and I love Nate.
I must say, I agree on many things you say. I agree
Yeah.
totally. Yeah.
And on the women's side, I really love Naomi Osaka. I think she's
Mm.
really finding her voice now, and
Ha- Have you seen her Instagram little
yeah, yeah,
interviews? Yeah, no, I like her too. She's quite
yeah.
funny. Yeah. Great. Okay. The final question, because I mean, I've kept you so long and you've been fantastic and I really appreciate it. And it's the worst question of
Oh
all.
God. Okay.
You will hate me for this, but there was a famous Italian, I grew up in Italy. There was a famous Italian journalist who ended all his interviews with this question. And I'm going to do the same.
Okay. I'm bracing.
Um, ask yourself, ask yourself a question and answer it.
Cool. Um,
Hope best if it's tennis related.
yeah. Okay. How about this? Why are you still doing Parenting Aces if you no longer have a child playing tennis? And my
Okay,
my
answer it.
answer is that I adore the sport. Let me change that. I adore the game of tennis. I don't always adore the sport, but I feel like
Mm.
I have a voice and an opportunity to make positive changes, and I feel an obligation to do that. So I'm not going away anytime soon.
Okay, fantastic. Lisa, thank you very much. You really, for someone like me who's just a passionate tennis person, and I've started this podcast, I really appreciate you, giving me all this time. And I thought it was really interesting. And yeah, I can see you've got so many stories and so many other things you can talk about, but I don't want to keep it too long. But yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, I'd love to keep in touch. And who knows, maybe one day, if I'm in United States, meet you. And yeah,
That would be
it would
great.
it would be very
I would
nice.
love
But
that. And
yeah, but
thank you for the
thank you.
opportunity
Yeah,
too.
thanks, Lisa.
So I enjoyed speaking with you and continued success with your
Great.
podcast.
Yeah, no, it's a fun thing, and yeah, it's to keep me busy.
I get it.
But yeah, yeah. Thanks again, and yeah, have a nice end of your day then.
Thank you. You too.
Uh,
Okay.
okay, ciao, ciao,
Will.
bye.
Bye.